Hello everyone and welcome to Horizon Chase Turbo, a thrilling arcade racing game that will throw you back right into the retro 16-bit era, but this time in HD. In this video I will tell you the good, the bad and the unique, all surrounding this Deja Vu Awakening title. I'm your host, Strafe. Let's get into this. As a gamer who loves both retro games and cars, this game hit all the right spots, and so as soon as I saw it was on sale, I picked it up to take a few spins around their tracks. Once you start playing, you're handed an experience that feels very familiar, and with good reason. The game is heavily inspired by classics such as OutRun, a Sega arcade racing game released in 1986, Lotus Turbo Challenge, a series of 3 classic racing games for the computer, and most importantly, Top Gear, a show about... oh, not that one, right. This, a game released in 1992 for the SNES which features the same gameplay mechanics of Horizon Chase Turbo, which we'll discuss soon. Once you start the game up for the first time, you're immediately thrown into your first race. My initial thoughts were very mixed. On the one hand, the throwback to a better time with high-speed retro racing hit me right in the feels, as the controls felt precise and sharp, and the aesthetics, although the graphics were new and very impressive, reminded me of all the classic racing games I used to love. There was only one thing carried over from these games that I didn't especially approve of: speed. It might just be me getting old, but while the speed definitely kept its weight as the old games, it also carried a lot of weight over, well, my vision. The speed of the road as you zoom across it, the turns which leave you confused about your real-life stance. All these things made me a bit dizzy, but oh boy was it worth it. Driving feels very satisfying in this game. Sure, it's very basic, with the only inputs being throttle, brakes, and, you guessed it, oh, never mind, it's called Nitro. Speaking of, during the game's campaign, you advance through different cities, exploring several racetracks in each one. Every racetrack has tokens spread across it. In order to 100% the game and get the most points out of each track, you need to collect all the tokens during that race. Oh, and get first place, of course. In addition to tokens, you also have fuel in certain locations, which you'll need to collect in order to keep driving, or else you might just not make it home tonight. While speeding through the large crowd of AI cars around you, you need to also remember to take corners correctly and avoid certain obstacles on the road. If you're not careful enough, you might find yourself flying in the air. Again, and again, and again. The points you earn allow you to unlock new cars, which by the way, there are plenty of. One thing I didn't really understand was some cars I unlocked were objectively worse than the previous one I already had. Besides that, a very nice mechanic in the game is the ability to upgrade your cars once you reach a certain amount of points in an area, which allows you to have a race in which if you place high enough, you get rewarded with an upgrade of your choice, and that upgrade will enhance all cars you own or will unlock in the future. As I mentioned before, the game took a lot of influence from the incredible Top Gear game from 1992. Heck, they even stole their music composer, Barry Leach, and he definitely did a great job. In fact, I'd like to argue the visuals and the music of this are done so well to captivate the feeling they were going for. It makes you energized, focused, rushing to the finish line, and captures the retro feel amazingly, regardless of the 4K graphics you're looking at. Again, this might just be the fact I'm out of shape, but the game is definitely not easy. I'm the kind of person who likes completing games with perfect scores, and Horizon Chase Turbo gave me a serious fight with that one. The tracks are challenging, the tokens aren't easy to grab while you try to avoid hitting your competitors, and the obstacles in the middle of turns, wow, they're infuriating. But as I'm saying that, I also have to mention I couldn't stop, nor did I want to. It's built in a way that keeps you in, wanting to perfect each race and make the most of it. It's never too long that you feel betrayed and wanting to quit, but instead precisely made for you to quick restart your way back into the race to try just one more time. As you unlock more features of the game, including tournaments and special challenges, you realize how much content you can explore, and how everything is laid out in a way that makes sense. And just in case you were worried, yes, there is split screen multiplayer, just like the good old days. Speaking of multiplayer, if getting through the top AI wasn't hard enough for you, there are also leaderboards with racers across the world who can somehow finish this track you spent 2 minutes in with only 18 seconds of pedal to the metal before they reach the black and white checkerboard finish line. Where did I go wrong? You know how some games have unique charm to them? This is one of them. While racing, if you overtake someone, get hit by another car, and many other events, your character would let you know how it feels about the situation, and that little touch truly makes the whole experience more personal and definitely out of order from modern racing games. Before I get too carried away in this hypnotizing game, I'd like to give you my overall thoughts. This game is an example of making something simple and creating a whole world around it. Yes, it is difficult, and it made me a bit dizzy around turns, but it was honestly difficult to leave the game and go back to the boring roads in real life. Though I am definitely taking some inspirations from the speech bubbles, less so flying in the air, you know, all that. I kind of dislike that. I can wholeheartedly say Horizon Chase Turbo is a wonderful game to play by yourself, especially if you're like me and want to get every race perfectly, but also perfect to play with 3 thrill-seeking friends who want to have a bit of a retro competition on your 4K monitor. What do you think? Will you be giving Horizon Chase Turbo a try, or are you afraid of speedy retro-inspired bends? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I'd highly appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. I make a couple of videos every week and that tremendously helps me out. Also, feel free to join my Discord server. I'm trying to build a community for gamers to connect, discover new games, and have a great time together. Link is in the description. Strafe out. One more thing before I go. Barry Leach, the musical composer of this game, had an Easter egg hidden in the game in which you draw a heart on the screen, and I'm not exactly sure how it all worked out because there's no evidence of it anywhere. But he actually proposed to his wife with this game. So yeah, good for you, Barry. That sounds fun.